Shantam, can you hear me now? Thanks for telling me that. Actually, I think my mic just got pulled out because it was on and everything. And initially it was working before the start of the stream, but yeah, I guess some wire got pulled out, and we missed out on everything that I actually discussed. But never mind. I'll just start from the beginning. Actually, I had prepared better for this stream, and I thought there would be no glitches in this one. But I believe some way or the other there is always something. Uh, but anyways, we'll try and cover things up from here on. Sorry for all the trouble that you guys had to face. I'll just recap everything that I just told the viewers. So the today what we are going to do uh, today what we're going to do is we'll be using Alexa hosted skills, but every time when we use Alexa hosted skills, we are using resources that are assigned to us in Alexa hosted. So for example, if you're using a persistence adapter, then we use a DynamoDB table or an S3 resource. Whatever we use, we are assigned that resource by the system. We don't really create an S3 S3 bucket or an DynamoDB table. That's the thing. So in some instances, you would ideally like to move out of the Alexa hosted infrastructure and start using your own AWS resources. Just to give you an example, the other day I had a request from a client which wanted to build a radio skill, but the client specifically wanted that we use a database which is not a part of our Alexa skill infrastructure, but that database is something that the client is using with their website and other apps to manage the the stream data. And what they wanted from me was to integrate that same table into the Alexa hosted skill, right? So by that, what they wanted to achieve was they could use multiple tables with Alexa hosted skill. That's one thing. And what they wanted to achieve was that they could use one table with many services. So those kind of scenarios can arise at any point of time, right? um, so because of that, today I'll be showing you how you can use any AWS resources with an Alexa hosted skill. The example that I'll be using today is DynamoDB, but you can apply the same approach with any other service, and just make the two things work together. So let me go ahead and start off with the skill development. I know I've missed out on a few other points that I mentioned before, but in the in the interest of time, I'll just continue. If you guys have any questions, then let's just let me know in the chat section directly, and I will get back to you. Whenever I get time during the stream. So let me start off with creating the skill, which is the first step in this direction. So I'll change my screen to, I guess my browser is now visible. This is the Alexa developer console where we are going to start from. So to do this, again we'll be using a template from Dabble Lab, and to get that template you'll have to go to github.com/dabblelab, and over there just search for number 58, and you can see there is a template right there which says Python AWS DynamoDB example. Just click on that name, and the repo would open up, and if you go to the code section and copy the URL, that's all that we'll be needing. So I'll now close this page and go back to the Alexa developer console and click on create skill. Once I do that, I'll just give this template a name, and I would name it template 58, and you can choose any language from here. I've supported all English languages. Basically, you can choose from any of these 5 languages, depending on the region that you are in. So I'll use English US because my device is set to that region. and I'll select Alexa hosted as the backend. Once you do that, click on create skill and proceed to the next step. On this page, I'll select import skill and I'll just paste the URL of the Git repository. If you're trying to build the skill with me, you can find the link of the repository in the description. I've also pasted the link in the chat section, so you can copy it from there and try and deploy it along with me if you're trying to develop the skill with me. Also, if you're watching this right now and if you haven't liked the video yet, then I urge you to please go ahead and click that like button, because that is what helps us make the video reach out to more people. If this is informative to you in any way, if you've liked any of our previous videos, and you find our content good enough, then please go ahead and support us by liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Both of these things literally count nothing, so it would cost you nothing but mean a lot to us. So yeah, please go ahead and do that if you can. Meanwhile, we'll just wait for a minute or two, and actually not that much. Yeah, it's already done. So now that I will go back. Okay, I think my video just froze for a moment, but it should be back. So now that our skill is deployed, let's just start off by checking the invocation name, and it says change me. So this is one thing which has troubled me a lot of times, which is that the skill name for some reason is set to change me. I don't know why that happens. And also recently another thing which has been happening is that I showed you the code. The code did contain support for all all languages, but over here if you see, it would only show English US. I don't know what the exact reason for this is, but if this is the case with you, and if you are not able to deploy the skill in any other language, then just do this, that deploy the skill for English US, and then go to language settings and clone all the other English languages. The code base would contain all the language files, but for some reason the interaction model does not contain those. I'll just recheck those and update this and all the previous templates as well, according to what's required to make this better, so that you don't have to clone it every time. But yeah, just saying for information that if you face this issue, then just clone the existing interaction model and you should be good to go. Now we've saved the invocation name, what we required. I'll copy it for future reference, and let's go to the test section. Actually, if I just run the tests here, it would go ahead or not. I don't know what exactly will happen. It can throw an error or also run off, but I won't go into the testing approach straight away this time, but rather let's understand what changes we have to make to the code and how exactly is the connection going to work. So in the code section, if you just scroll down, so at the top right below all the definitions for the things that we have to import, you will find that there is a section which says connect to AWS DynamoDB. So this is the particular section which will contain the code using which we'll be establishing the connection. So let me just take you through this code, because this is important, and if you're trying to use any other service than DynamoDB, then also you'll have to make some changes here. So what we have done is we are using something called as STS client for Boto 3, and what STS gives us is that it gives us a way to get access to our AWS resources using a particular role that we will soon create and assign to our skill. So if you can see here, the parameter for the client establishment is STS, and once you have got the STS client, you try and call the assumed role object, and in that assume role you pass two things, which is the role ARN and role session name. So you don't really need to care about much of the syntax here, but what you really need to do is change the value of these two things. If you don't understand what's going on down there, then you don't need to worry if you're just using DynamoDB. You need to change a few things if you are trying to use a different service. Like if you're not using DynamoDB but maybe using S3, then you'll change this to S3, and I don't know, you'll have to configure the other things as well. I think the key, the access key would remain, the access token should ideally also remain. So yeah, I think you'll just change the service name, and then the way it is called, the invocation would also need some changes. Let me just drink some water and then I'll continue. Okay, so to continue, now that we've seen that this is how you gotta establish a connection, let's see what are the values that you need to care about. So the first value over here is the table name. So we'll fetch the table name from AWS, and the second thing is role ARN. So the role ARN is the ARN of the role that we are going to be creating on AWS. So without any further delays, I'll just go to the AWS section and get started with the other part. Just one, you'll have to wait for a minute here. The reason for that is that I'm changing my browser for this because I'm using AWS with a different account. So if I just log in via AWS right now, then it would have a conflict between the developer console and AWS. So for that reason, I will just be changing it. Okay. All right. And it's almost done. Yeah. Okay. For some reason, yeah, I think you should be able to see the other things. Okay. All right, I guess everything is fine now. So let's just go ahead and do the remaining part. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess everything now is sorted. I'll just increase the font size here so that it's visible. So now what we are trying to do is we'll open up AWS and sign into our account over there. So on AWS, just click on my account and AWS management console if you already have an account. If you don't have one, just create an account. It costs something over here, like it's free, but you do have to attach your credit card in order to get complete resource access on AWS, because it's not completely free like the Alexa hosted part. Okay, yeah, I think the font size should be good enough and visible now. So when you reach the AWS management console, what you got to do is go to the search option above, and over there just click IAM, and when you click on IAM, it would show up this box, and from there select IAM service. So in this IAM console, when you reach this dashboard, look for the roles option on the left hand side, and just click on that, and you will see a lot of roles over here. So I've already created a role for this, but I would just delete this role for now and create it back. So I have a lot of roles because I used to create a lot of skills using AWS Lambda before. So if you use Lambda, so with every creation of every new skill, you know a new role is automatically created. That is why there are so many roles in my account. But I'll just go ahead and create a new role and show you exactly how it's done. So after creating a new role, go to uh, go to this page, and over here keep the first option as the default option, which is AWS service, and scroll down, and from the second option it would the title would be choose a use case. Just choose Lambda from here. So it doesn't really matter, we'll be choosing all our services individually later on. For now you can just choose Lambda from the common use cases and click on next. Okay, once you do that, go to you'll reach this page, and over here you will need to create a policy, basically give it some permissions. uh, this policy part can be tricky if you're working for an organization. Sometimes people want a very pinpointed access, like only read access for some part, only write access for some part, and like that. So I won't be going deep into the whole policy part for now, but what I'll be showing you is that if you're using DynamoDB, that we are using, so we can give it this basic policy, which is DynamoDB full access. So basically this would contain read, write, update, and delete, the entire access for DynamoDB. We've given it that. On when you click next, this page will appear, the add tags page. You don't have to do anything here, just click on next review, give this role a name. So I would name it Alexa hosted Lambda role, right? That's what it is. So I'll just name it Alexa hosted Lambda role. Role description is allows Lambda function to call, no, allows Alexa hosted skills to access my personal AWS resources. Yeah, so that's the definition of this, and that is what we are trying to do. I'll just create the role with this. You see there's only one policy. I'll just go ahead and create the role with this, and now we will have a role over here. If you can see, the name of the role is Alexa hosted Lambda role. I would just click on that, and after clicking on that, I would go to trust relationships, which is the second tab, and over here just click on edit trust relationship. You will see that this kind of a structure, a policy document appears. What you need to do is simply leave everything in this document as it is, but just make one change, and that one change would be, give me a second, okay, would be that you would change this service to AWS, and then this part where it says lambda.amazon AWS, just delete this and replace this with with something that I'll just show you again. So I have to switch the browser again. So I hope you can now, I hope you can now see my previous browser. So we've come back to our Alexa developer console, and over here what we are trying to do is we are trying to fetch our ARN for the Alexa hosted skill that we need for the integration. So you see this button on the top which says AWS integrate. If you just click on this button, then you would see a ARN for the Lambda execution role. Just copy this to clipboard and go back to the previous browser, or like in my case browser, but in your case go back to the AWS tab in the IAM, where you were editing the IAM console. I'll come back here, and we just previously just changed this from service to AWS, and we need to paste the ARN right here. Once we have pasted the ARN, we'll just click on update trust policy. Right, now our trust policy is updated and this role of ours is ready to be used. So what basically this role would do is it will establish a connection between the AWS resources and the Alexa hosted backend. So otherwise, if you would assign a table name or a table region, it would not exactly know like where to look for. And even if you give it the correct path, it would not have access to it, right? It would not have access to several things. So for that reason, you need to establish a connection. So now I would copy the role ARN from here, from the top, and again I would go back to the previous, the other browser where we have the Alexa hosted skill running. So I've come back here and I need to replace this ARN with the ARN we got from there. Okay, so part one is done. The other part which is left is actually quite simpler, which is fetching the table name. So for that, I'll again go back to the AWS console. I haven't configured a table yet, so I'll just go to AWS Lambda, AWS, and I will create a new table over there. So yeah, let's see how that is done. Okay, can you? Right. So again, on the top bar, previously we searched for IAM. This time we would search for DynamoDB. Hey Shantam, are you still there? I hope you're able to follow. If you have any questions, do let me know. This is DynamoDB, and for those of you, I believe if you're still watching this video, you must have used DynamoDB before. So generally the way we use DynamoDB is we reach this page, which is the dashboard, and then we create a new table which we will use. So you see this create table button here, just click on that and give this table a name. So I would give this table Alexa underscore hosted table, right? I would just name it Alexa hosted table, and the partition key is it's actually a unique key which you would be using as a primary key. So I would just give it the name user ID, right? User underscore ID. You can give it any name, but there is no other unique key to identify each user. User ID is the thing that I think even the persistent adapter approach uses, and I think we should also be using the same thing. So I just assigned it as user underscore ID and I'll click on next. And you see I have a lot of other tables as well, but they're just demo tables, just like this one. So we are going to only be focusing on this. How can I make it bigger? Okay. Yeah, I guess you are able to see the table better. If I go to the items section, then actually I would just reduce. Yeah, I guess it is better visible now. So if you see here, there are no items in this table actually as of now. So this table is completely empty. Now what we will try and do is we will try and run our skill, and we will populate this table. Actually, I'll run it on my device and I'll show you how this is updated real time. Right. So let me just simply do this. I'll switch the browser for the last time, I guess, again. And yeah, we are back here. We need to give our table name. The only thing we were left with, we had given our ARN, role ARN. Now we need to give our table name. So our table name was Alexa underscore hosted underscore table. Yeah, I guess this was it, right? Alexa hosted table. Yeah. Voxenic Technologies ask, what is this Alexa skill? Hey, this is just a skill, basically an Alexa hosted skill, where you can use your own AWS resources. To summarize for you, what happens is when you're using an Alexa hosted backend for your skills, you can't really have much access to AWS resources. You have very limited resources, like one S3 bucket and one DynamoDB table. So if you are if you want to access multiple tables or multiple buckets, so to do that you would need to follow this approach, which establishes a connection between between your AWS resources and your Alexa hosted skill. So that's what we are trying to do. What we've done is we've created a new role with all the permissions that we need. We've assigned that role ARN over here, and similarly we've created a new skill and assigned a table, the table name over here. This particular template that we are using is an a template by Dabble Lab, and you can find it on our GitHub page. Once you deploy the template, you will only need to change these two things, and once you've changed these two things, Rishabh says, how many screens you have right now? Rishabh, I have 3 screens in front of me, one at the top, one that I'm looking at in front of the camera, and one on the left hand side. So that is why I just my eyes keep moving from one place to another. But yeah, this is now done. We have established a connection, and I would just click on deploy. And now if I do that, our skill now has complete access to our DynamoDB resource from AWS. So what I will do is I will open up the test tab. The deployment was successful. I would open up the test tab and just run the first query on the test console over here. So just select development and say open template 58.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
And it gave me an error. Okay. Let us quickly see what the error was. Okay. Something doesn't seem to be right. We're not able to see our logs in the Ireland region. I don't know why. Let's just try and change the region and see if we get the logs over there. I don't know, it weirds when this kind of a thing happens, that we do get an error but we see no logs.
There was a problem with the requested.
Let me just reload the page and try it out again.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Okay, let me just quickly. Hey Shubham, welcome back to the stream. You didn't miss much. So I was just showing how you can use external AWS resources with the Alexa hosted skills today, and basically you can recap the video later on. Right now we are just into the execution phase, and once again we are facing some errors as always. So I'm trying to troubleshoot exactly what went wrong. So the skill is pretty, this implementation is pretty straightforward usually. Let's see. Let me actually, my whole focus is now only towards seeing what the error was. So let me try and figure out what the error is. a few seconds. I'll quickly summarize everything at the end of the skill as well, at the end of the session. But let's just quickly find out what the issue is for now. Quite strange. It isn't showing me any logs. It's failing. I'll try and sign out and sign in again. Tarun Dagar says, I've seen this got in movies. So those of you who don't know, Tarun is a friend of mine. So you can just ignore any funny thing that he says over here. Okay, so we're gonna sign in. I'm just confirming. Yeah, I'm using the right account. I have to use this account for the skill deployment. Okay, and this is the template is right. Let me just go back to the test section. The thing is, the template that when I just tried it out right now, everything was working fine.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Okay, I guess the ritual continues. We keep getting errors that we can't resolve in the stream. But yeah, since all of you guys are here, any idea what's exactly happening? Why is this giving us an error? If you do have an idea, do let me know. What might be wrong here? I don't know. Is this one of those logs? I don't think so. We'll just check the timing. No. This isn't. What's happening? What's happening? Where did the logs go? So there's an attack by Prateek Java, Ashish Yadav, and Tarun Dagar. For those of you who don't know, we all used to work together at Voxogenic Technologies. And I guess we're having some fun today here. It's a good way to do a small get together, but still doesn't help my case. Why is the skill not working? What's wrong? What's exactly wrong over here? We established a connection, we got everything sorted out. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll just check the IAM connection and everything again. And so I'm just checking the Lambda role. The role is correct. We assigned the role over here and that connection was done. And the next thing we did was, okay, so I think there is some fun going on in the chat, but the viewers are also increasing. So as long as it works in the right direction, it's cool. Guys, just try and help me out over here. You all are developers, and just tell me why are there no logs in this account? Is this the reason? Oh my god. Okay. Now I think we should be able to see the logs now. I think there was something. I don't know what's happening. It says the log group does not exist. Pratik says, do you have the required permissions? Pratik, I like to see the logs over here. We don't need any permissions. They are directly visible. Like this is an Alexa hosted skill, and you don't need to really give any permissions over here. I don't know. It's really strange what's happening. We have everything sorted out. I think we have the persistence adapter. We have both of three. No, Ashish, the region would also not make a difference basically. So it can either be something, actually I can, maybe no. No, I thought I had access to a different account when I was creating it. So I had used the same approach before. That's why I'm actually sure that this works, because I had used my personal AWS account and the S3 hosted account that I'm using right now. But this, okay. No, no, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, okay. Let me see. I think I think we might have a solution that I created previously. I'll just use the same settings again over here, and I hope magic would happen and it would work as it was working previously. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, let's try this out one last time. If it doesn't work, I'll just yeah, if this doesn't work, I'll show you the template that worked previously for me. But I guess that doesn't help that doesn't still help the case, because if you're following this template, ideally you should get this to work out of the box. Change the permissions again in the ARN trusted entities that we did before, but I don't have much confidence that this would even run this time. Alexa, open template 58. Oh, I guess there's just one last thing remaining, and this is a problem that I've encountered a few times before, which is, I would just name it to demo skill 3. I know it seems a little weird that changing name can affect something, but you never know things. I've seen some really weird things lately on this platform, just related to the name, like using the same name for multiple regions. I had to switch off the, the developer, the option that you get in the test console, the developer and the test option. I had to toggle that again in order to use the same name. I don't know. At times stuff happens. Let me see. It says build successful, and we'll try it out again. What's the chance that it would run this time? I don't know.
Welcome. You can say hello or help. Which would you like to try?
Even now it triggered a completely different skill. And it triggered a skill. What should I name it? I should name it something like, I don't know. I would name it dummy connection skill. Dummy connection. Yeah, I would name it something like that. I'm just trying to give it some kind of a name which is unique and might not clash with any previous names that I might have used. Okay, so let me just go ahead and try and do this. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, then I'll just probably cover it up again in the future tutorial that will be coming out next week. But I guess that's what we have live streams for. We're just here to dabble around things, try to see if things work or not. If they don't, we try and debug them. Doesn't really matter if they don't really work, because in the end you have the template, you have the right kind of knowledge, you can you can dabble around with it the way I'm doing right now, and it can be made to run. But I would nice say open dummy, what was it, connection.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Okay, so I guess at least yeah, at least the error was for the right thing. I should actually change the stream name to just struggling to make the skill run or something. Oh, now we have the logs. We have the logs, the issue would be resolved. It says the assume role only accepts keyword arguments. Okay, in that case, I guess I know what the issue might be. Let me first run, and then I'll confirm what exactly the issue was. It was a very lame issue if it actually turns out to be this. And once again, it's something which I just changed at the very last moment, just to make the skill a bit more pleasing to look at, the code a bit more pleasing to look at. I'll say open, what was it, some connection, I forgot the name. Dummy connection, I suppose it was dummy connection.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Okay. Shouldn't. You know what the thing is? What I changed? Okay, I'll now get everything back to the way it was before. I just changed this thing. I just assigned it on the top instead of yeah, I just moved this thing to the top just to make it easier for people to edit. But I guess this was the issue, because what it's telling me is that there's some issue with where is it? Yeah, with the assume role function, right? So here is where the assume role function is, and the only thing that I changed over here is this lambda role, is the definition of this lambda role. Actually, I'm using the correct lambda role, right? Yeah, it's 7886. Yeah, I believe the role is also correct. Let us try it out for one more time.
Welcome to the AWS DynamoDB example template.
Who would
What's
have
your
thought?
name?
Who would have thought that? If you see, the only thing that I did was that in this definition, I just cut this thing from here and pasted it right over here, and I just assigned the variable name. So ideally, according to me, I don't know, maybe I'm missing out on something, but ideally it should have worked even in this scenario. But since it didn't work, so I believe don't actually mess around with the code that Amazon provides to you. I guess that would be my lesson from here. But yeah, now everything should work fine, and I would take another minute of yours and conclude this by showing you how things are actually happening in the AWS console. So I will switch my browser window again and open up the so I believe you are able to see the tables that I have, and now I'll run the skill on my local device, and you'll see data being populated here and all different kinds of operations being done. So Alexa, open dummy connection. My name is Rahul. My name is Rahul. Okay, some stop. Exit. So. There's some error in line number 92. Alexa, open dummy connection. My name is Rahul. My name is Prateek. Stop. So I'm actually having a look at the logs, and Alexa, exit. So I'm actually having a look at the logs. It says that Boto core exception, there is an exception in case of fetching the username, or actually writing the username. But yeah, I believe it should have worked ideally. Okay, I guess the chat is still having fun. So what should we guys do? Should we end the session here and continue this in our next session, or shall we resolve it before we are able to, before we end this session? So I'm actually having a look at the logs, and it says there is an issue with line number 92 where the username is being assigned, and the issue is some kind of a validation exception when calling the put item. It says a value is invalid. I don't know why the value is being taken as invalid, but okay, if I try and assign it as a string value, I guess let's actually run it on the simulator. That way we'll actually get to see what exactly are we getting from the front end. And I would say open dummy connection.
Welcome to the AWS DynamoDB example template. What's your name?
I would say my name is Rahul.
Sorry, I wasn't able to handle your last request.
Okay.
Could you say that again?
But why were you not able to handle the last request? The username slot, the value is Rahul. And what do we have in our code? It's the username slot and the value. So ideally we should have got this value. And the user ID is something that we are getting from the, yeah, we are getting the user ID as well over here, right? This is the user ID. So okay. I don't know why this exactly fails. I guess maybe this is another thing that I did which caused the issue. Let me see. Yeah, because until I made these two changes in the end, where I just to make it more visibly better, I just moved the role ARN and the table name out of this section, and for some reason I believe I didn't test it after that. I hope that it would just work out of the box, because oh, okay, you're not able to see the tab. Okay, Shum, I've actually switched the tab. So now Tarun says no sound. Tarun, I think you're lying, because I can see the sound in my OBS console. So I guess sound is there. Shubham, can you confirm whether sound is there or not? I'll reload again and open.
Welcome to the AWS DynamoDB example template. Sorry, I wasn't able to handle your last request. Could you say that again?
Okay, this time another error in, it says one of the parameters is missing, but I really don't know which one, because oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I got it, I got it now, I got what the issue is. Shit. So I took the name as user. Okay, everything is now sorted and things will run just fine. So yeah, I now understand what I missed out over there. And the thing was that the key value that I assigned in DynamoDB is user underscore ID, whereas it's user ID in the code. So that is what caused the whole issue. I guess this is a good learning, and I'll make this correction. Uh, I'll make this correction in the template, in the tutorial video that would come out. That would be a shorter version of this skill. But yeah, now we have, I think ideally we have resolved all our issues, and the skill should now work just fine. But yeah, I think it's actually good we had all these had all these errors, because I got to learn something new today. Because this thing, like the other thing was a silly mistake on my part, but this thing I am not still able to understand, that if it's a string value and okay, it's being passed, then why exactly when I just passed it as a variable, it threw me an error. I don't really understand that yet, but I think the other thing should now be working fine. I'll change my tab again. Let's go back to DynamoDB. You can see there uh, nothing has still been stored in DynamoDB because the key was not right. Now I'll run the skill again, and let's hope it runs this time. Alexa, open dummy connection. My name is Rahul. So if you see, if I refresh, now it's what update my name to Pratik. Delete my name. Stop. So yeah, as you can see over here, the everything. Okay, Pratik says the screen is stuck again. So were you able to see the DynamoDB screen? Because I can see that on on my OBS window right now. So let me know if you were able to see that or not. I think it must have got stuck in between while the transition was happening, but everything should be visible now. Yeah, so let me know, were you able to see what I was showing in the in the DynamoDB? I believe I would just wait a minute or two more, if just to confirm whether if you were able to see that or not. But I'm really sorry to keep you guys waiting for so long. I guess the user ID issue is something that I didn't realize, uh, and due to that notation. Because earlier what I used to do is, when I used to use AWS Lambda for the backend, I always used to use user ID as user ID as the key, but there would be no underscore. It would be user capital ID. So because of that, uh, I just changed the name in this example, and I think everything changed. So yeah, Shubham confirms that the changes were visible. Okay, thank you for that, Shubham. So yeah, okay, so you were able to see everything, right? Create, delete, update, all of those actions. So yeah, I was telling you, I'm really sorry to, waste a lot of time in just debugging here, but yeah, I guess you would have learned a thing or two that what kind of issues can arise. And I think this was actually a good example for, people who are trying to troubleshoot. So as to how exactly, you can troubleshoot things you need to look for, all of those things. Because from the last week or so, me along with my teammates, we were working on a skill, and we were actually facing a lot of issues. And at times it so happens that you don't really understand what's happening, because I agree that the user ID thing was a miss on my part, and maybe I just went with the flow while creating the skill over here and didn't notice. But the other thing about the uh, role ARN, that Pratik, you mentioned that you should just pass the string value. I don't know if you had said this for DynamoDB or not, because if you talk about this case, then I don't really get it. What's the point of passing just this string value over here? Actually, this is something, if you guys can get back to me via email in the comment section, or just any via social media, and if you know the answer to this as to why exactly the role ARN was not picking up the value from the variable, I would actually like to know that, because this is something that I don't think I'm aware of right now, and I would like to learn what exactly caused the issue there. But anyways, the for the regular viewers, this was nothing different. I hope Shubhan can relate to that. It was just another day where we dabble around with things and try and create something new. um, it's it's something like even I learn during this whole process. But yeah, I would definitely make these changes right away in the in the in the code that I have hosted on GitHub. And in the tutorial that will be coming in the near future, I would make sure that all these things are covered up nicely, and maybe I would add a section in the end where I would mention what kind of issues people can face. But apart from that, that's all that I had today for this session. I guess that would be all. I hope you guys enjoyed the session, and if you haven't liked the video till now, then please like the video, share this with your friends. Any questions, suggestions, reviews that you have, just let us know in the comment section below. There are links to our templates, our social media handles, all the resources that I have referenced to make this template. You can find all of that in the description below. And as always, keep telling us your feedback, and we'll improve. So thanks for letting me know. Thanks for attending this session. This is me.